Oh, yes, yes. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's very good. Bojmoi. Aha. Yes, yes. Oh, hello. Hello there. Sorry, just catching up on my comic book reading there. Um, Lovely to welcome you back to Steampunk Over Ether. And in this little section, we're going to be talking about comics and doing things related to comics a little bit. Um, I'm presenting this bit from the main stage at the asylum. Look, isn't that amazing? Inside the castle. Yes, I think that's quite fab. Anyway, you might recognise yourself. I don't know. Just have a look. If you've been to the asylum, you're probably in here somewhere, I expect. So we're going to start this little segment with a bit of culture, and a poem by Homer. Yes, no, not that Homer. No. Anyway, here's a lovely poem read by the dashing brigadier himself, Matt Broom.
Much have I travelled in the realms of gold, and many goodly states and kingdoms seen. Round many western isles have I been, which bards in fealty to Apollo hold. Oft of one wide expanse had I been told that deep-browed Homer ruled as his demesne. Yet did I never breathe its pure serene till I heard Chapman speak out, loud and bold. Then felt I like some watcher of the skies, when a new planet swims into his ken, or like stout Cortez, when with eagle eyes he stared upon the Pacific, and all his men looked at each other with a wild surmise, silent upon a peak in Darien.
I do like a bit of culture. And there'll be more poems from Matt throughout the festival. He's recorded a few for us. So I'm looking forward to those. We'll sprinkle them in. We don't want to overdo it. We don't want to overdo it. So now this next little bit is something I'm quite excited by. A little while ago, there was this comic produced, Return to the Asylum. It followed on from a previous one called Enter the Asylum, produced by Accent UK Comics, and in there was a little comic book strip which featured Lady M and I, which was very nice. That was very nice of them. Anyway, this one here. And we thought, well, it would be nice to do something a bit different with comics, something a bit different. And Lady M and I are obviously, we're here together in the mansion. So we thought, you know what? We've got all the kit, we've got all the gear, we've got all the, we've got the things we can do. We can put together an animated version of the story. I'll show it to you now. I think I'm rather excited by this. Very excited by this. So here we go. This is called Heart's Desire.
Right then. It has become increasingly clear to me that some of you have not been paying attention. So here it is.
Leicestershire had a lot more hills than the Count had expected. But he would not complain as long as he continued forward. Her doctor had urged the Count to embrace such challenges, as they may, in turn, bring him closer to the heart's desire he seeks.
You better have a damn good reason, or a damn good gin, to come calling at this hour.
Comrades! It is I, Count Rostov, at your service.
Who?
Actually, I saw the ghost. Excuse, is this the beetroot I smell?
I was going to use the beetroot in a gin-based chocolate cake, but you looked like you could do with something to heat you up, Mr. Rostov.
Count Rostov. Yes, very tasty.
I'm glad. So maybe you can tell me what in the Hoovians you are doing out there, Count Rostov.
Is good questions, Miss...
Malika. It's Moroccan.
Maliki?
Malika?
Malakai?
Malika.
Malik... I think I calls you Lady M.
Oh, well. Flattery apart, Count Rostov. What are you doing here?
Please, Lady M, call me Ilya, and I am undertaking a quest to find my heart's desire.
A what? What's that then?
I don't know, but it is something of real beauty and value. I will find.
Well, this is the National Space Centre, so there is nothing like it here, except maybe our rockets.
Really? Please may I see the rockets?
And this is our 42-metre high rocket tower.
Ooh, it's big. Do they still work?
They are for display, but they are still active, so please don't touch anything.
It's okay. I is safe as eggshells.
We have a go from the range. You are clear to launch. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Ignition.
It's okay. I have something. Yes?
Oh my!
What's on, Lady M? Tally ho! Days later. Is this a date?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Does it feel like a date? I mean, the rocket flight and crash were exciting, and you certainly swept me off my feet, and being marooned on this island is kind of romantic, so yes, I suppose it could be a date.
No, not date. Just stone.
You are so funny, Ilya. Well, whatever you call this, it is rather fun, and I do believe you are falling for me in your own funny little way, and I've grown rather fond of you too.
Oh, sorry, was that me?
Yay, we're saved!
I say, need a lift? Do you think he has beetroot? Can I go in now?
Shh! You'll ruin the moment, and we are almost at Morocco.
Is this a date?
Maybe. You'd best look your part then, in case we bump into my family. It's nice, but I thought your heart's desire would be to get the matching jellaba.
I is hungry. I is stiffed.
I hope you mean stuffed.
Let's find out. Go in. There.
Oi! Hands off my Rostov!
Do not fear, madam. Your kidnapper is caught. His reign of thievery, destruction and general mischief is over. Your employee has arranged your safe return. You need never see this miscreant again. Farewell, Lady M. Is no date after all.
Bye, Ilya. I'm always at Lincoln Castle, every asylum, if you want to find me. Oh, it is dusty in here.
Army headquarters, sometime later. That's right. You can all go. The Major wants the whole garrison at Lincoln Castle for the grand parade. So there's no one to guard you. Why? There's a steep hill there. It'll be the Asylum Festival. Ha! Castle? Lincoln? Asylum? I need go. Please give lift. And borrow please smart garments?
What an adventure! And you've heard nothing since? Not a peep. Oh, how romantic! Maybe he has a lost Russian prince. I wish. Oh well, time for the parade.
Boiling beetroots. This is the haystack and the needles. Must use eagle eye. Maybe close? Oh.
Ilya! What are you doing here?
Malika, Lady M, until I meet you, I know not what I am looking for. But from the moment we had our first kiss, at last I knew my true heart's desire, and I want to spend the rest of my lives with you. Will you marry me?
Oh, I knew it was a date. Yes!
She said yes!
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It only remains for me now to reintroduce to you your lecturer.
I am, and I am, and I am Mr. B the Gentleman Rhymer.
And it wasn't long after that we had our first kiss. And the moment we had that kiss, I knew that I loved you forever. And I knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you. She said yes.
Oh, I think it's got slightly dusty in here. I think slightly dusty. So yes, so that's from the pages of Enter the Asylum, and yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. It's one of those things where you have an idea and you think, oh, that would be a fantastic idea, and then you start doing it, you think, why did I ever have this idea? But no, I enjoyed doing that. It was brilliant. I hope, Colin, if you're watching, I hope you enjoyed that very much. It's all his fault, by the way, can I just say. And in fact, I think it's a chance to, let's have a word from Colin, shall we? Let's talk about, find out what his influences were, what his favourite comic books were. And I should warn you that you might need a Scottish translator for this one. So here is Colin on comics.
Hello, my name's Colin Matheson. I'm a really big comic fan. I actually create my own comics with Accent UK under my own name. But I thought it might be a wee bit fun to actually talk about some of the comics that are still my favourites after all these years. As I say, I've been a lifelong fan of comics, all the way back to my childhood. So, Jings, Crivens, Help My Bob. My first comic favourite is, of course, the Broons and Oor Willie, who are something of a Scottish institution. They were available in other parts of the UK as well, mainly northern part of England. But the Broons and Oor Willie tell stories of a dysfunctional family, the Broons, who got to various sort of high jinks and japes. These are the Broons here. I think there's 11 in the family, ma, pa, sundry kids all the way down to the bairn and the twins. Most episodes, just a single page, would tell them trying to avoid something or get up to something or have some shortcut and end up in some jape here. They've lost all their clothes, got wet in the river, and they end up dressed in tatty sacks. Really quite something. And every week you get one episode, one page of the Broons, and then another self-contained episode of Oor Willie, a wee boy, indeterminate age, maybe about 9 or 10, who again would just look, he'd struggle against boredom. He'd go up there and just make some fun, with whatever he came across, whatever he found with his pals, or trying to avoid the policeman, PC Murdoch, and then again try and get home in time for tea, which is usually a bit of a slap-up meal with his mum for some mince and tatties. Quite something. The strips started years and years ago, 1936, and they're still published today. Created by the editor, Robert Lowe, R.D. Lowe, originally in 1936, and drawn by an Englishman. Aye, Dudley D. Watkins, Dudley Dexter Watkins, actually born in Manchester, which amazingly is where I live now. And he moved to Nottingham, and then when he got the job with D.C. Thompson, the publisher of the Sunday Post, he moved up to Scotland, to Dundee. And apart from the Broons and Oor Willie, he's also influential behind other British comic institutions, the Dandy and the Beano, Desperate Dan, many characters that Dudley Watkins drew. And, I've got a whole series of these collections from early newspaper strips, and I just love them. They still make me laugh now with some of the stories, so that is definitely one of my big favourites. The other one, if you show people in the UK of a certain age, they've got to do the voice. Hergé's Adventures of Tintin. When we were growing up, we had the wee cartoon came across from Europe, and it was okay, but pretty badly dubbed. There was this big rousing soundtrack at the start, and Hergé's Adventures of Tonton, and that's where we are. So Tintin's a big favourite of everyone, I'm sure. It should be anyway. Hergé, Georges Remy, his lovely Lynn Clare art style, very highly detailed, imaginative stories. Snowy or Mulu, the wee dog, to accompany him in these adventures. Each album's, I think, 48 pages, but has a dozen to 14 panels to page. Really quite detailed, as you can see. The coloured backgrounds. Everyone would be familiar with Tintin, I'm sure. If you look at the back, you might spot your own favourite. Arguably, as the episodes went on, as he worked with a whole team of assistants to help him do the backgrounds and colouring and such like. Maybe the stories are a bit more accomplished, but you can't beat Tintin in a kilt, really, though, can you? That's my favourite. Staying with Europe, I seem to have a fondness for European comics. Is Jacques Tardy. You can tell he's French because I did the French accent there. Jacques Tardy, Adèle Blanc-Sec, which I think translated as white salt, or thereabouts. You might be familiar with the title. It was Luc Besson of The Fifth Element directed a movie, Adèle Blanc-Sec, about 6-7 years ago, perhaps a wee bit longer. It wasn't hugely successful, but I think it's quite enjoyable. But again, sort of 1920s, turn of the century sort of period, adventure style romp. Adele is, she's not quite a reporter, but she's a reporter. I think she might be a reporter, actually, a journalist. She sticks her nose into various places, and gets swept along through adventure. Look at the wonderful detailed drawings there by Tardy. I mean, Tardy's a real master. He's done many books in Europe. In the last few years, most have been published into English finally. So it's quite something. The only slight criticism I'd say is a lot of these characters in the comic tend to look very similar. So it's quite hard to keep track of what's what. But the story is such much fun. And these are Fantagraphics, American publisher, to these wonderful versions. I think only two came out, but that's well worth a look. And lastly for now, wow. Corto Maltese, another historical adventurer from Europe, this time by Ugo Pratt, Italian born, and he's a really fascinating character, Ugo Pratt, bit of adventurer himself. His father was in the diplomatic service, I think, or the government service, and born in Italy, brought up in Venice, and then kind of travelled the world, South America, Argentina, and North Africa, following his father around, and really exposed him to all sorts of people, cultures, experiences, which he put into this classic, maybe not quite anti-hero, Corto Maltese, but he's kind of a laid-back character. Very simple art, you might see there, black and white, not very detailed, but you can show so much with so few lines. Here, the stories vary in length. Some are very short. Some are longer. This one, Fable of Venice, is one of the shorter self-contained ones. I think about 50 pages or thereabouts. In English, these were really hard to get for many years. The Hugo Pratt Corto Maltese, and it's very envious. When you travel Europe, you see them in most other languages. But IDW, through their Euro Comics imprint, the American publisher, have started producing these wonderful volumes in recent years. I mean, they've got a wonderful gatefold sleeve, which will show you a wee map of wherever that particular episode takes place. There's Venice, and gives you a bit of a biography to Hugo on the back. Now, I think there's 12 volumes in total thereabouts are going to be published. I think I've only got about 7 of them so far, so I'm a wee bit behind, but they're all absolutely cracking. Highly recommended. Corto Maltese. But that's just a sample of some of the many graphic novels that I've got that are some of my favourites, and I use them when I create some of my own work and my own characters. You may have seen me with my Moments Adventure, little short historical adventure stories, or with Dave and Gary at Accent UK. We do sort of steampunk stories and such like. So some of the influences of those, in my favourite comics, probably get into those. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Just a short wee introduction. And until next time, bye.
So there we go. Colin Masterson, the man behind Accent UK and the Return to the Asylum comics, and many other comics indeed, tells us a little bit about his favourite comics. Some great examples there. There's a couple there that I am not familiar with. I'm a big comic book fan myself. You might have guessed. A couple there I'm not familiar with, so I'm going to go and check them out. So coming up next, in a very short space of time, we've got Captain Kuppa Tea with some fabulous music videos, and then we're going to take another break. And then we've got live tea dueling and live portraiture with Jeff, both of which I'm worried about. I'm not worried about. No, I'm terrified of technology. But anyway, here's a quick advert from an author.
Steampunk lesbian space pirates, you say? Hi, I'm Ryan Fletcher, author of Deus Ex Mechanic, which is now available on ebook or in paperback on most online e-retailers. Let me tell you a little bit about Deus Ex Mechanic. It was described by beta readers as basically queer Firefly, so if that kind of space hijinks steampunk vibe is what you like, then you'll probably love this book. I'm going to read to you the blurb that's on the back of this book. Alice is the best mechanic the corrupt coalition regime has ever seen. When she's kidnapped by an infamous vigilante space pirate named Violet, she has to make the hardest decision she's ever made: escape back to the comfort of the coalition, or risk everything to fight injustice. When Violet decides to ransack the coalition vessel, she never thought that she'd have to fight her feelings for Alice too. Will giving into an affair with the treasonous mechanic cloud her judgment and jeopardize the safety of her crew? As they fight side by side against the ruthless rival pirate Captain Leo and his crew, will they grow closer together, or will everything fall apart and leave them stranded in dark space? So this book launched on April 10th, which is only a very short time ago. It is now available on Amazon and Smashwords, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, etc., both as an ebook and as a paperback. And book 2, which is called Imperfect Shot, will be out on September 30th, 2020, so that's this year. It has already been written, and book 3 has also been begun as well, so don't worry about this series being abandoned. We're here to stay. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you like Deus Ex Mechanic.
So there you go, a quick advert there from an author. Fabulous. And when you're moving around a festival, you see all sorts of wonderful things. One of the wonderful things you might see, if you're very lucky, is Captain Kuppa Tea, who is a wonderful person who he doesn't perform very often, but when he does, it's quite magical and quite something. And I love his videos, so I begged him to be able to show them. So here we are, his 3 videos from Captain Kuppa Tea.
Pip pip, what ho? Pip 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 pip, what ho? What ho? Pip pip, what ho? Pip 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 pip, what ho? What ho? Pip pip, what ho? Pip 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 pip, what ho? What ho? Pip pip, what ho? Pip 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 pip, what ho? What ho? Pip pip, what go, what ho, what go, what flow, what, you know? Just so, what I control, what fast-paced bowl, we run the show. Smash wickets down with my rhythmic flow. Victorian raver, with H.G. Wells flavour, and gentlemanly behaviour. Separate fiddle-lie, fiddle-lee, separate fiddle-lie, fiddle-lee, separate fiddle-lie, fiddle-lee, separate in the air, on the land, on the sea, separate fiddle-lie, fiddle-lee, separate fiddle-lie, fiddle-lee, separate fiddle-lie, fiddle-lee. Z to the E to the double P, E-L-I-N, Zeppelin crew strikes back again, rocking the skies with airship skills, blow your mind like Jekyll's pills, looking flyers, we fly the sky, close harmonies as sweet as pie, with a pot of Earl Grey on the side, bowling leg breaks, no wise. Separate fiddle-lie, fiddle-lee, separate fiddle-lie, fiddle-lee, separate fiddle-lie, fiddle-lee, separate in the air, on the land, on the sea, separate fiddle-lie, fiddle-lee, separate fiddle-lie, fiddle-lee. Separate fiddle-lie, fiddle-lee, separate in the air, on the land, on the sea. Pip, what ho? Pip, 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 what ho? What ho? Pip, pip, what ho? Pip, 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 what ho? What ho? Pip, pip, what ho? Pip, 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 what ho? What ho? Pip, pip, what ho? Pip, 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 what ho? What ho? Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in the air, on the land, and the sea. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in the air, on the land, and the sea. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in the air, on the land, and the sea. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in the air, on the land, and the sea. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in the air, on the land, and the sea. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in the air, on the land, and the sea. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in the air, on the land, and the sea. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead. Seven-proof in life and lead.
When I was down in Woking Town, a funny thing happened to me.
What was that?
A cylinder fell from the sky above, a scientific curiosity. Well, packed inside with large black eyes were these tentacled monstrosities. They seemed quite ill, so they popped back in, and I went home for tea. Some chaps went back waving a white flag, they zapped them with a ray of heat. They built the war machines, and the army came down, surrounding the extraterrestrial fiends. But the old heat ray made pretty short work and blew them all to smithereens. These alien cats were a feisty bunch, as ugly as they were mean. They went ooh la, ooh la, ooh 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 la. The chances of anything coming from Mars were 1,000,000 to 1, they said. But the cylinder dropped and they all jumped out and killed everybody dead. Well, the chances of anything coming from Mars were 1,000,000 to 1, they said. But the cylinder dropped and they all jumped out and killed everybody dead. Well, I scuppered off to Leatherhead in a horse and cart to see my cuz. When returning the thing, there was an awful storm and a terrible mechanical buzz. Up ahead through the rain was a frightful sight, an alien fighting machine. With thick black smoke, a big heat ray, and long legs 1, 2, 3. I crashed my cart and made a dash and hid in my house overnight. With an artillery man I met on the way, who filled me in on the awful fight. The chances of anything coming from Mars were 1,000,000 to 1, they said. But the cylinder dropped and they all jumped out and killed everybody dead. Well, the chances of anything coming from Mars were 1,000,000 to 1, they said. But the cylinder dropped and they all jumped out and killed everybody dead. So we headed off to Shepperton, where the army took out a tripod. I jumped aboard a boat and went down the Thames and met an excitable man of God. To cut a long story short, I had to knock him out, and the aliens fed on his blood.
Disgusting.
It was a dreadful shame, but life goes on, and it was a terribly tedious sort. Now London is covered in the red weed, and the aliens are dead.
Good show.
Humble infections got them after all man's mechanical device could not. Now I'm fit and well, and the earth's a mess, but we'll build it back as best we can. Are we such apostles of mercy to complain if the Martians war like man? They sang ooh la, ooh la, ooh 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 la, ooh la, ooh la, ooh 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 la. Well, the chances of anything coming from Mars were 1,000,000 to 1, they said. But the cylinder dropped and they all jumped out and killed everybody dead. Well, the chances of anything coming from Mars were 1,000,000 to 1, they said. But the cylinder dropped and they all jumped out and killed everybody dead.
Captain Gupty and Zep crew. Great British Bake Off. 2016. 2016. 2016.
brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours, damn right, it's better than yours, I could teach you, but I'd have to charge. My fruitcake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours, damn right, it's better than yours, I could teach you, but I have to charge. I know you want it, the thing I bake, see what the judges go crazy for. They lose their minds the way I spice. I think it's time. Warm it up. The judges are waiting. Warm it up. Mary Berry's waiting. My fruitcake brings all my chums to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours, damn right, it's better than yours, I could teach you, but I'd have to charge. My fruitcake brings all my chums to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours, damn right, it's better than yours, I could teach you, but I can see you're on it. You want me to teach thee techniques that makes these bakes. It can't be bought, just no tins get hot. Use gloves if you're smart. Warm it up. The judges are waiting. Warm it up. Hollywood is waiting. My fruitcake brings all the chaps to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours, damn right, it's better than yours, I can teach you, but I'd have to charge. My fruitcake brings all the chaps to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours, damn right, it's better than yours, I can teach you, but I'd have to charge. Oh, once you've made your mix, grease up your baking tray so your bottom doesn't stick. Same time ensure it's cooked through, so when it's moist and brown, take out of the oven. Then next their noses twitch, then they pick up its scent. Warm it up. The judges are waiting. Warm it up. Mary Berry's waiting.
That was the lovely Captain Cup of Tea and the Zeppelin crew. I've put some links in the comments, so do check him out. Do check out his latest album, which was out at the beginning of April and is wonderful. It's a lovely album. If you ever do get a chance to see him live, and he doesn't go live very often, then I can recommend. It's always value for money, and he's always very funny as well. So that's it from this segment. We'll be back at 5 o'clock for what is probably going to be an interesting segment, because we're basically going to attempt to do some live tea dueling through the wonderful technology of Skype, and then we're going to attempt to do some drop-in on Jeff doing some live portraiture. So again, it should be rather interesting and challenging, so let's hope for that. And then this evening we have got a wonderful evening for you. So from about 6 o'clock, don't forget 6 o'clock, we're showing the best interview as voted by you. And then this evening, yes, as I say, we've got some fantastic stuff coming up from 7 o'clock. We've got a full evening of music, ladies and gentlemen, full evening of music. We've got some videos from Professor Elemental. We've got a specially recorded song from Mr. B. We've got special sets from Madam Misfit, from Tom Wilde, Violet Hugh and Alice Strange, all of whom have been wonderful, absolutely wonderful, and provided some fantastic sets for us just for this festival, just for you people out there. And then we're not finished, because after that we're going to have some stories at bedtime, and we're going to be playing music, just music, after that through to midnight and maybe beyond. I don't know. It depends how late I can stay up. We'll be back after tomorrow as well. So there's loads. But anyway, do come back for 5 o'clock and see how we get on with some live tea dueling and Dr. Jeff's drawing. So, back at 5 o'clock, and stay safe, stay splendid.